So, this is a little unusual, isn't it? So, first of all, I do want to apologize for the aspect ratio. For some reason, I can't get my webcam to go 16 by 9, so it's stuck at this 4 by 3. Look at me, I'm like Zack Snyder right here. Welcome to my Snyder Cut. But yeah, I apologize for the weird aspect ratio, but, it is what it is. And I also wanted to, film this, like, in person, so I can speak, directly to you guys. It's a bit more personal, maybe even a little bit more intimate. And also, I feel like I might get some heat for this. I'm not entirely sure, but this is coming from a fan. I mean, look at this. Look at my boy Flint. He's been with me since 2015. I love him. Okay, I am a Golden Sun fan. I've been a fan since 2013. I didn't grow up with these games. Dark Dawn was actually the game that I was introduced to for Golden Sun, and then I was later on introduced to the Game Boy Advance games, and they became some of my favorite games of all time. I love Golden Sun as a franchise. Especially helps that Camelot made these games because the first RPG I've ever played was Shining Force on the Sega Genesis. That's Camelot. So, I love these games, and I love Camelot as a developer. They have made a lot of really good games. They made a lot of really fascinating games that have really cool ideas and cool concepts for worlds and stuff like that. So it makes me really sad to see this developer who used to make some really, really cool JRPGs be relegated to more Mario Sports. And again, I'd like to believe that they are making these games because they want to make them. I don't want to think that they're doing this because they just want to make stuff that makes money, or they need to make this because Camelot is going under. So they need to make something that's that'll guarantee them sales, or heaven forbid, the worst case scenario is that if Nintendo is kind of punishing them, is oh, you didn't make this game on the DS so good, you're punished by making Mario Prostate Checker. It's I don't want that. I don't want anybody to be relegated or to be stuck developing one thing forever. And as a fan of Camelot, that's kind of what it looks like. Not necessarily that they're trapped, but that's just what they've been doing. It's they don't make RPGs anymore. They make these kind of average sports games, and it's already bad enough that I'm not a fan of the Mario franchise. Even the core Mario fans, or the core Mario games. I'm not fond of them. I'm not a huge fan of them. And then you take sports games. I'm not a fan of sports games. So you take Mario and then sports. You put them together, you get a game that I'm 100% not interested in. I think I have 2 games from Camelot that are Mario Sports. It was Mario Tennis on GameCube, and then Mario Tennis on Switch. And that's it. But yeah, it's just been heartbreaking. These past few years. Just again, seeing more Mario Sports, and then at this point with Mario Golf for the Switch, I'm done. I'm not saying that I'm leaving the Golden Sun community or anything like that. I'm not saying that I'm not a Golden Sun fan anymore, because I will always love the games that I love. Nothing can ever change that. But what I am saying is that I am not asking anymore for Golden Sun to come back. And the reason being is because I feel as if because back in 2012, Takahashi said that if more the reason why they make RPGs is because people ask for them. So if more people ask for Golden Sun to come back, that would lead to development of such a game. It was something along the lines. I don't have the exact quote right now. And again, he said that back in 2012. I got in 2013. And since then, I have slowly but surely seen the fan base, get louder and louder and louder. And where it is right now in 2021, it has never been this. I mean, at least from what I've seen, it's never been this big. I don't think it's ever been this vocal. And of course, with social media and YouTube and things like that definitely does help. The internet is in a very different spot than it was 10 years ago, which is weird to think about. But again, this growing community, it feels as if it's just it's at an all-time high right now. And you'd think that with, again, the ever-growing demand for Golden Sun to come back, and then we're at the 20th anniversary for Golden Sun, that, we would get something, it's maybe not even a fully fledged game or, a remake, but even and I brought this up in the last video I did for Golden Sunday. I talked about how, even an HD port of the 3 Golden Sun games Because already, Golden Sun 1 and 2 are on the Wii U. All they would have to do for Dark Dawn is, touch it up. I mean, we already have DS games running on Wii U. So we know it's like if they can run on the Wii U, they could probably run on the Switch as well. The Wii U and Switch are not too dissimilar in terms of power. And if anything, like the Switch is more powerful, so of course they're going to be able to run DS games better. Also, again, like we know DS games can run on the Switch because of the things like the Mega Man Zero collection. There were like 2 DS games on there. But like something, we could have gotten like some sort of collection or something. But again, they've decided to celebrate the Golden Sun anniversary by releasing Mario Golf. I don't know, like at this point, it just feels, and again, like I'm speaking as a fan, and I have like no ill will against the Takahashi brothers or Nintendo or anything like that. Like, I want people to make the games that they want to make. I don't want anyone to feel forced to make a game that they don't want to make. I hate that idea, so I'm not trying to say like, oh, you gotta work on Golden Sun or else you're fired. I mean, who the fuck am I to fire anybody, But no, like I want people to make the games that they want to make. I want people to make the games that they feel comfortable making. I don't want anyone to feel forced to make a Golden Sun game. For it to come in a place like in a bad place. If they're making a Golden Sun game, I want them to make it because they want to make it. But again, like with the years of waiting, the years of demanding, the years of Mario Sports that we've been getting from Camelot, to me it just says that enough's enough. Like it, stop asking. We're not doing it, and I'm like, okay, I'll stop. Now, am I setting myself up to have an egg on my face? I would certainly hope so. If Camelot wanted to release, even again like a collection of Golden Sun games, just so I can have it on my Switch, I would greatly appreciate that. It's also possible that we can get Game Boy Advance games like on the online service, but I mean, I don't necessarily want that. I'd want to be able to support with my actual dollar bills. I want to give my money to Camelot and be like, more Golden Sun, like how I did on the Wii U. That's what I want. But yeah, I'm just like just tired of of not being heard or recognized, I guess. Not necessarily like as me as Ryrule of the channel. I don't mean like that. I mean more so just like as a fan of Golden Sun, as a consumer from Nintendo, someone who buys like Nintendo games and stuff like that. Like I'm tired of not being heard. So it's like, if you don't want to make it, then I'm not going to push it on it. I'm not going to push it on you. I'm not doing it no more. But of course, there are also people who still have faith that Golden Sun can come back. And I kind of want to go through like the responses that I've heard like the reasons why people are excited, or they're still excited. They still hold on to hope. And I'm going to explain why I don't exactly feel as if it means anything. That's not a good way to put it. But I mean, it doesn't really mean anything to me. You know what I mean? So the one that I keep seeing around is the leak from Zippo. Zippo was the one who said that Camelot was working on a game that was a Mario Sports game. He didn't know they didn't know what game it was. They just knew it was some sort of Mario Sports game that was coming out in the first half of 2021. Sorry, Golden Sun fans, the sun will rise again eventually. And a lot of people took that as, oh my god, so Golden Sun is for sure coming back. And then I kind of took that as, that's just him being like nice, I guess. Like, oh, sorry guys, like I'm sure we'll get a new Golden Sun game eventually, but it's not the time now. Like that's kind of how I took it. Like people took it as like a lock that Golden Sun is coming back. I took it as not yet, or like it's not time. So a lot of people say, oh, but he said it's coming back. I say no, they didn't say anything like that. It's just a consolation, like don't worry guys, chin up, keep going. But so there's that for one. And I've also seen people say that they're using golf kind of like as a warm up for Golden Sun, seeing how we got these characters running around in these big open fields. We got RPG mechanics and stuff like that. I just, again, like it could just be a callback to the Mario Golf game on the Game Boy Advance that had a lot of RPG mechanics in it too. I mean, for one, I think it's cool that they're introducing RPG mechanics, or not introducing, but they're bringing them back, because again, Camelot made a lot of really cool RPGs back in the Sega Genesis days. Like they made a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, Beyond the Beyond was kind of shit, on PS1, but we don't talk about that. Also, there's people who are saying that like the Lost Age and a Mario Golf game come out like within the same year, and that there was a Mario Golf game that came out the same year as the first Golden Sun game. But at on that same coin, those games were used in the same engine, and also Game Boy Advance games are a lot easier to make than 1080p, 30 FPS, because the Switch doesn't want to do 1080 60 for some reason. HD big budget games like this, it's completely different. It's way more complicated to make one game. It's more difficult to make one sports game on the Switch than it is to make it on the Game Boy Advance. And also, people say that 3 years for Mario Golf, like, that's a bit much, don't you think? Like, don't you think maybe they could be working on something else at the same time? There are a couple of things with that I want to unpack. First thing being, of course, COVID. Now, I hate using that as an excuse, because I think people use that as an excuse to be like, oh, well, the reason why we don't have this is because of COVID, but like other people seem to be doing just fine. And again, we don't really know what it's like in Japan right now, and we don't know how Camelot themselves have been affected by COVID. Like, I personally don't know if they are working from home. I don't know if they're working in office. I don't know what they're doing, so I'm not claiming to be an expert. Again, just going off my old noggin. We don't know how specifically Camelot was affected, but we do know that a lot of developers, especially in Japan, were affected by COVID, and we don't know how working from home could affect the development of these kind of games, first of all. And then second of all, yes, this Mario Golf game does have RPG mechanics and stuff like that, which is, again, nice for them to add, but stuff like that isn't exactly, I guess, easy to implement, Especially with Camelot, when they've been years without working on an RPG-like game. The last game that they made was an RPG was Dark Dawn back in 2010. At this point, that was 11 years ago. So for one, it might have taken them a while to get reacquainted with RPG mechanics. It does take a while for things to get balanced. Like, balancing RPGs, from what I understand, is incredibly difficult. And it could be very time consuming. Then again, you also got like the whole speed rush thing. We don't know what it took for them to develop that, these open courses and, the different power-ups and stuff like that you can get. Like, there's a lot of variables that I think that people are kind of like underplaying. Like, we don't know how much time it took for them to make these things. So maybe, them working 3 years on Mario Golf, maybe it is justified with all the stuff that they've been adding. It doesn't, for what it's worth, it doesn't look like a simple, easy peasy golf game. Like, it looks like as if there's quite a bit of stuff in there. Like, there's a lot of like micro mechanics, stuff like that. So like, it's interesting, but at the same time, those kind of things that make it look interesting, the things that make it look, that makes it stand out against other golf games, those kind of things would certainly take time, especially when it's harder to develop games now than ever before. There's also the idea that Camelot could have also used another developer to help take the load off. So, like, they could have collaborated with Monolith Soft. Maybe they could have got the ball rolling, and, they could have, started to develop on the Golden Sun game. And, because we know Mario Golf is coming out this year for sure. We have, like, the exact file size. We have the release date. We have everything. It's golden. It's good to come out. So we don't know how long it took to actually develop again. And there's also... I remember there was like job listing for Grezzo that said that they're hiring to work on a medieval like video game, and a lot of people think that could lead to Golden Sun, because Golden Sun has a lot of medieval elements, which fair enough. And also, I want to point out that Grezzo isn't exactly exclusive to making Zelda remakes, because for one, they made Ever Oasis, and then they also did a remake of Luigi's Mansion, or a port of Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS. So it is possible that Grezzo could be working on a new Golden Sun game, or a remake, or something. Golden Sun could be coming back by the hands of Grezzo, which, I would love to see. I think Grezzo did like a pretty good job with the remake so far. Bear in mind like some of the weird changes they did for Majora's Mask, and the weird performance issues from Link's Awakening. I dropped the name for a second, but on the whole, I think Link's Awakening was a good remake, and they did a good job with Majora's Mask, even though I don't like the changes. So Grezzo would be a good pick to remake Golden Sun, or if they're going to do like Golden Sun 1 and 2 in one game, like how I've been wanting for years, yeah, I think Grezzo would do a good job. Do I think they're going to do it? No. Because one thing that we also got to keep in mind is that not only is it Golden Sun's 20th anniversary, it is also Zelda's 35th anniversary. What do you think Nintendo's going to prioritize more? Niche JRPG? AAA Zelda game. I do want to stress that I understand the points that the Golden Sun fans are saying. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from those people. You guys have a lot of hope. You guys have a lot of optimism and a lot of passion. That's awesome, and I respect the hell out of that. I wish I could still feel like that, but at this point, I've had too many eggs thrown in my face from Nintendo. That's, and I'm just tired, And again, I kind of hope that I'm setting myself up to have another egg thrown in my face by them being like, look at this, Golden Sun's back! Boom! Oh! I want that. I want that. I will paint a target on my face right now if it means that Golden Sun will come back and I get that egg thrown in my face. But, again, I feel like as if it were coming back, we would have known something at this point. Something else that a lot of people say, too, is that Dark Dawn was revealed in E3 2009 and then again in 2010. Fair point. If you want to say that Golden Sun is an E3 worthy thing, then maybe we could get Golden Sun on E3 2021. But then again, let's look at this Direct that we had. We were supposed to know about what was coming out in the first half of 2021 from Nintendo, and what did we learn? We learned that we're getting a $60 Wii game. We're getting Mario Golf. And Splatoon. Well, no, not even Splatoon 3, because Splatoon 3 is coming out in 2022. We don't know what's coming from Nintendo themselves because they seem to prioritize the third-party developer games and, frankly, third-party shovelware over their own games, So, E3 is going to come around, and what are we going to get? Are we going to get more news about DC high school girls? Are we going to get more Fortnite stuff? I mean, not to say Fortnite is shovelware, but, that's kind of what I mean. People want to know what Nintendo is doing. People want to know information about Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, yeah, if they don't got a trailer or, anything or gameplay, that's fine. I think a lot of people can understand that, but what about some concept art? What about, a title? What about, tell us what you're trying to do with the sequel? Same with Metroid Prime 4, what are you guys trying to do with the game? You don't have to show us gameplay. You don't have to show us a trailer or a CG trailer or any of that kind of stuff. Tell us what you're trying to do with the game. Show us some concept art. Show us the title. Something, That is a completely different thing, but that's just me saying that E3 2021, I don't have any faith in for Nintendo. I mean, not for them to show off any cool games, but also for them not to show off Golden Sun. I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. And if it does, I'm going to be the first guy to be screaming out oh my God, it's back, but it's not coming back. I have lost faith. And that sucks, it breaks my little heart. But at the same time, I will always have Golden Sun 1, 2, and 3. I always have ways to play them, and I always will play them. There's not a lot of games out there that are like Golden Sun. There's not a lot of games out there that do the kind of things that Golden Sun does, which, again, is part of the reason why I would love to see it come back, There's not a lot of games out there like it. Dark Dawn ended on a cliffhanger. We've been waiting years for some sort of resolution or some sort of continuation, and we've been getting nothing. There's an appeal for the Golden Sun games, that maybe a lot of people don't see, but I definitely see it. And it's just a shame that I have to, hang up my my little Golden Sun fan card. Again, I'm always going to be a fan of the games, but I'm not. I'm done. I'm done asking. I'm done asking. I'm done waving my flag. I think now it's just time for me to just play the games I love playing. So I don't know. It sucks, and it doesn't make me happy to say these kind of things. It doesn't make me happy to realize these kind of things. And in my heart of hearts, I will always hope for Golden Sun to come back. And when it does, I'm going to be the first in line to get it. But as of right now, I'm tired of being burned. I'm tired of having the egg on my face. And, yeah, that's that.